You tap your card. It beeps. You walk away. You genuinely could not tell someone 20 minutes later how much that cost. That's not you being careless with money. That's a real signal in your brain being switched off on purpose by the way you're being asked to pay. There's a name for it. Neuroscientists call it the pain of paying. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much of it you've had switched off without ever agreeing to it, and the one habit that turns it back on. Handing over cash and tapping a card feel like the same action. They are not the same action to your brain. One of them activates a real, measurable region tied to physical pain and disgust. The other barely registers at all. Same purchase, same amount, completely different internal experience. And that difference is the entire reason contactless payments and buy now, pay later exist in the form they do. This isn't a conspiracy. It's just how the technology happens to work. But understanding it changes how you use it. Here's what's actually happening, physically, when you pay for something. When people are shown prices in brain scanners, a region called the anterior insula lights up, the same region involved in processing physical pain. The stronger that signal fires for a given price, the less money that person actually spends. That signal isn't a flaw. It's doing its job. It's the felt cost of a purchase, arriving in real time, exactly when you need it, right before you commit to the spend, not after. Handing over physical notes triggers that signal strongly. You can feel the stack get thinner. There's a small, real moment of loss every single time. Card and digital payments were never designed to remove that signal deliberately, but removing it turned out to be extremely good for spending. So every payment method since cash has, one step at a time, made the transaction a little more abstract and the signal a little quieter. Think of it as a ladder with cash at the bottom. Cash, full signal. You watch the money leave your hand. A card swipe or chip insert, weaker signal. There's still a pause, a wait, a small ritual that gives your brain a moment to register the cost. Contactless, weaker again. One tap, under a second, transaction done before the thought, can I afford this, has time to fully form. A 2024 study on contactless payments found something telling. The people who use it most often rated it as the least helpful method for keeping their spending under control. They already knew. They used it anyway, because the friction that used to stop them simply wasn't there to stop them. Each rung so far removes a little more of the exact signal that used to keep spending in line with what you actually have. And there's one more rung below contactless that removes almost all of what's left. Buy now, pay later sits at the very bottom of that ladder. The cost isn't just abstract. It's deferred and split into pieces so small that no single moment ever feels like spending real money. You're not parting with £120. You're just agreeing to 4 payments of £30, and the fourth one is a problem for a version of you 3 months away. None of this happened because a single company sat down and decided to switch off your judgment. It happened because every payment method that removed friction outperformed the one before it, transaction after transaction, and the market simply kept building whatever converted best. The pain of paying wasn't the target. It was collateral damage on the way to a smoother checkout, and it happened to be the exact thing standing between you and the next purchase. Here's the part that goes further than most people expect. It's not only that digital and mobile payments quiet the pain signal. Brain and EEG research has found that easy, frictionless payment can trigger something closer to a small pleasure response. The reward of a smooth, effortless transaction, completely separate from whatever you actually bought, which means the tap itself can feel mildly good, independent of the purchase. You're not just failing to notice the cost. Part of your brain is quietly enjoying how easy that was. That combination, pain switched off, ease rewarded, is not an accident of modern payment design. It's the single most effective thing that's ever happened to spending, and it's built into almost every transaction you make in a day. This isn't a fringe habit anymore. As of this year, 54% of UK adults have used buy now, pay later, up from 42% just 1 year earlier. Over 100 million BNPL transactions went through in the last year, worth more than £7 billion, averaging £114 a purchase. More than half of the people who use it, 56%, say, in their own words, that it makes them spend more than they would if they'd had to pay up front. They can feel the effect. They're using it anyway, because the moment of paying has been engineered to feel like almost nothing. Regulators have only just caught up. The FCA started regulating buy now, pay later for the first time this month. Clearer information, affordability checks, support if repayments go wrong. That's not happening because BNPL is a niche curiosity. It's happening because the pain of paying has been engineered almost completely out of it, at scale, for the first time in most people's financial lives. Here's the number that should worry you more than any of the others. 41% of Buy Now Pay Later users in the UK have missed at least one repayment. Not because they set out to miss it, because the whole design of the product moves the moment of consequence as far away from the moment of decision as it can possibly get. By the time the third or fourth installment comes due, it's not sitting next to the thing you bought anymore. It's sitting next to your rent, your food shop, whatever else landed that week. Competing for money that's already been spent in your head on things that have nothing to do with the original purchase. That's not a willpower failure at the point of missing the payment. It's the pain of paying finally arriving, weeks late, at the exact moment it's least useful, after the decision's already been made, instead of before it. None of this means you're bad with money if you use Contactless or BNPL. It means the exact signal that used to do some of that work for you, automatically, has been quietly turned down. And no amount of willpower replaces a signal that isn't firing. The fix isn't guilt, and it isn't swearing off cards forever. It's putting the friction back in, deliberately, at the specific moments it actually matters. For anything above a threshold you set for yourself, say £50, build in a pause before you tap. Check your current balance first, not after. That single step reintroduces a version of the signal cash used to provide automatically, because it forces the cost to become concrete again before the money moves, not after. For Buy Now Pay Later specifically, there's one question that does the same job the missing signal used to do. Before you agree to split anything, ask, would I still want this if I had to pay the full amount, today, in one go? If the answer changes, depending on whether it's split into 4 payments, that's the pain of paying signal trying to tell you something the interface was specifically built to prevent you from hearing. Neither of these habits requires giving anything up. You're not being told to carry cash everywhere or delete your banking app. You're just reinserting the one moment the technology removed. The pause between deciding you want something and the money actually being gone, and letting your own judgment do what it was always capable of doing if it had been given the chance. The tap isn't free. It never was. The cost is exactly the same, whether you feel it or not. The only thing that changes is whether you notice it in time to make a different decision. You don't need to go back to cash for everything. You just need to know which part of your brain the interface switched off and put a small, deliberate pause back in its place. If this changed how you'll think about the next tap, that's the point. Subscribe for the next one.